All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So let's take this back. Let's do a little flashback to last year. In 2019, we had our first Women of Color panel session at one of the annual patient conferences out in Minnesota. I had the great opportunity to chat with these lovely ladies. They shared such wonderful perspective as well as advice and guidance to the community of women and their loved ones that joined us during the session. So it's been great getting to see so many of these wonderful faces as well in this conference virtually. And I hope to get to reunite with everybody again next year in person. That would be wonderful. This year, the panelists are Ms. Holly Jones, Ms. Kanaya Gunter, Cynthia Imana, Donna Barr, and Alicia Glass. So I want to share a little bit of information with you about these ladies, and so you could kind of get to know them before we dive in deep with them. So first off, Ms. Holly Jones, she's had polymyositis with interstitial lung disease since she was 19 years old. She has a weekly social media talk show called Crazy and Christian on Facebook that she broadcasts from her home in Houston, Texas. So thank you for joining us, Holly. Ms. Kanaya Gunter was diagnosed with dermatomyositis with NXP2 positive anti-MJ in 2007. She is a transformation nutrition health coach, owner of Unique Guidance Nutritional Health Coaching, LLC. So we're excited to have her with us here today as well. Ms. Cynthia Imana in early 2017 was diagnosed with polymyositis within a couple of weeks of childbirth. She was wheelchair bound for over a year, and then she gradually got stronger. So she has some great perspective that she can share with us. Ms. Donna Barr was introduced to the mysterious world of myositis in 2019 after being diagnosed with dermatomyositis. She has responded by leaning in, reaching out, and educating herself and others, while also advocating and lobbying on Capitol Hill to increase funding for research and more effective treatment for myositis patients and others with rare diseases. Thanks for joining us, Donna. And for Miss Alicia Glass, she, prior to her diagnosis in 2016, Alicia was a professor specializing in the field of drug and alcohol abuse. The owner and operator of MIFS LLC, in which the main focus of the company was to help members of her community with a huge focus on the homeless. Since her diagnosis, she has turned her attention to disseminate information and awareness on myositis, with a focus on the community of women of color due to the high mortality rate. So thank you for joining us. So as you can see, our panel of ladies have some great experiences personally, professionally, as well as a uniting factor. The world of myositis has brought them together. So I just wanted to share with you guys before we get into the Q&A. There was a great infographic that was created for the Women of Color campaign. If you go to this tiny URL, it's the easiest way to get to it. It's a 2-page infographic that gives some great information regarding how women of color are disproportionately affected by myositis diseases. So that's definitely something you can share, with your friends and loved ones so that they can understand, the disease process that you're living with on a daily basis, as well as hopefully help to educate others outside the myositis community as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen there so I can see all these wonderful faces. So let's go ahead and get started. If you ladies don't mind, you can go ahead and unmute, when you want to talk, but otherwise we'll keep it muted as others are chatting just for interference sake. But let's go ahead and start with Ms. Holly. Being this is your second year on the panel, what have you found to be the most helpful guidance that you've been able to provide to other women of color regarding their myositis diagnosis?
As most people know, my biggest advocacy with the women of color is for the younger generation that has come out and been diagnosed. And so I really try to advocate for young women who want to start their life, the career, their family, they're just, you know, getting started and they feel discouraged, they feel hopeless, they don't understand what's going on. So the biggest guidance that I've gotten from TMA is the support system, and everyone has their own vision of what they want to bring to the forefront for the women of color. And I like the fact that everybody is kind of like saying that we're in our own lane per se. You know, Kanaya wants to bring nutrition, you know, Ms. Donna wants to bring about health and wealth and mindfulness, and Ms. Elise, everybody on this panel is bringing so many different things to the table, and we're all can shine a light for the whole community of women of color. And that's what I'm so proud of with this group of women, and the support and the guidance that we give each other and the encouragement that we give each other is remarkable. So if I've had to take anything away, is that I've learned how to even step up more and voice my thoughts, my opinions, and my concerns for the women of color, and also for men of color as well that are being diagnosed at a younger age with myositis.
Unmute.
Excellent. What about you, Kanaya? What are your thoughts in regards to that question?
One more time, give it to me one more time.
No problem, Kanaya. Let's go. We got this. I just wanted to know what is, kind of your biggest thing that you're most passionate about regarding, sharing your knowledge base with women of color out there in the community. Like, how can you help? What are you most passionate about in helping women of color in the myositis community?
Well, it took me a long time to get to kind of like the resources, and it took a long time when I didn't have the resources because of local doctors. So my passion about giving them the resources, guiding them from a mindful level, which is being in the present moment. So like when it took me all those years, up to 11 years to get the resources, I found TMA, and TMA was able to help guide me, especially like with the conference last year. I think that all people that want to, learn more about their diagnosis and how to cope and how to connect with people and how to live a life of purpose, this is the best group to be a part of, as far as with the women of color, because everybody does have a vision, everybody does have a purpose, and we're willing to do it as a whole, bring all our ideas together and see the vision through. So I think TMA is the way to start, and to start connecting and building a community of women that really want to do the work and be able to help other women of color and others also.
Excellent. Thanks, Kanaya. I appreciate that. Ms. Donna, being a newbie to the panel here, we want to welcome you with open arms, and tell us a little bit about your journey. What did it entail, and what can you share with others to help them along the way?
Sure. Wow, this journey, first I would like to say thank you guys. Thank the women who have gone before me, who have taught me so much, including the women on this panel today. My journey, I'm the newbie in the group, and my journey has been one of leaning into this up front. I made a decision that I was not going to give in. I was going to show up for this fight, because I believe that we're in a fight, and we're in a more fierce fight as women of color, as you alluded to, the statistics and the studies that have already been given. And I wanted to take courageous action in the face of my fear. I had so many questions. I was shaking in my boots. I was weak in my body, confused around what to do next. And the truth be told, my husband said, it's got to be somewhere. I Googled and found TMA. Oh my God. I got in my car with Crystal, my cane. I call my cane Crystal. By that time, I'm on a cane. I jump in my car. You know what jump means for myositis, right? We wobble to the car and we get in the car, pull ourselves in with this cane. And I get on the elevator and I go there. They were in shock. They were like, nobody has ever come here. People call us, people email us, but you got in the car. They took pictures of me. I was so desperate for help. And I'm so grateful that I found a community, with including some of these women, that has helped me navigate this space and do my part in in the group.
Thank you so much, Donna. And I love that you have Crystal the cane. That just made me
Crystal with the K. Crystal with the K.
I love it. That's fantastic. Elisa, being a veteran on this panel now too, with this being your second year, and just being a great voice and heart for the myositis community, what would you say is one of the biggest things that women of color face when trying to get a proper diagnosis with myositis?
Well, there are several things, and culturally, we tend to wait a little longer before we go seeking medical care. Women with dermatomyositis, the rashes are not easily recognizable on our skin tone. So it's also, unfortunately, it takes a longer length of time because these things are just not recognizable. In that interim, talk about cost economically, not only for the patient themselves, but also their insurance companies, of course, because we tend to get sick and get very, very sick, and hospital time is quite high in terms of us. I happen to have a different story. I got very sick within 4 days, completely paralyzed and in the hospital, and I was there for almost 4 months. Obviously, needless to say, the cost was astronomical, and I lost my career and everything else, my business, due to the length of stay. So there are many, many obstacles that are dealt with, financial being a big one. To be diagnosed quickly is another one. There is a higher instance of the CK level where most people keep looking at that for some reason is not always shown in a person of color, women in particular of color. So we are slightly different than our Caucasian counterparts. And what has been interesting is not only African-American women that's put in women of color, is also the Latino Hispanic population. And also we have the Asian population, which is coming in, and it's becoming quite interesting to see what happens. But I will tell you, TMA has done wonders, and teaming up with really great pharmaceutical companies has done wonders to assist us in getting the word out and to be able to use that information to get the word out.
It's great to hear. Honestly, having it be a panel for the first time last year and bringing you guys together as a patient, advisory council team together has been, extremely insightful and I think is imperative in order to help continue to educate not only others, that are not in the myositis community, but the physicians themselves, giving them the, exposure to the experiences that you've had so that you can share that out and educate them to go along with their, medical practice and knowledge that they have. So, I think that's wonderful. So thank you so much, for being the voice out there and helping to advance work in this area.
Lori, I also wanted to mention that this is a really great time. Patient advocacy is really important, and pharmaceutical companies, clinics, doctors are looking for us to come forward. And I think that we should continue to do that and bring them the information with the level of expertise that is being researched with TMA, and to forward this information and it might be a little bit of a pushing to get that understanding of what we go through. And some of us, especially women of color, we go from 0 to 60 very quickly. And it's something that we need to let them know that, no, you can't have us waiting 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks for a particular test. So patient advocacy is hot right now. It's out there, and this is a great time, even if you're shy, to get out there and become a support for yourself as well as the rest of us.
Excellent point. I noticed too, there's been, a chat that's been started as well, on that topic of patient advocacy, because, really you are the best voice, for your care, for others, for education. So great point. Miss Cynthia, do we have you there? Just want to check in on you real quick.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, awesome. Excellent. Great to
Hi.
see you. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Fantastic. Being one of the newer members to the panel, what would you like to share, with the myositis community in regards to maybe your experience, getting diagnosed, or what you think is, really important for the community to know and understand?
Well, I'm brand new and I am shy. I'm one of the shy ones. So, but I'm very passionate about helping people. And at this stage, it's been, 3 years? I went 3 years without reaching out to anyone or, finding any type of support up until a couple weeks ago. So I just want to, I think, share that it's okay to maybe be in a little funk and, just feel depressed and be down, but you get out of it. Life continues, you get stronger, and just pick up yourself, take care of yourself, and just feel good about yourself again. So I think that's mainly the point that I want to put out there and bring awareness and definitely fundraise. I have over 20 years of sales experience. So I'm excited to get in the community, hit the streets, and just do what I can. So I'm excited for that.
That's fantastic. Welcome,
Yes.
Cynthia. We're happy
Thank
to have
you.
you.
Thank you.
I think, you do bring up a really great point, and I've also, heard that even just as a resounding theme with some throughout the conference in general. Sometimes we're a little more shy when it comes to sharing our story, or we're a little more shy to let everyone know exactly how we're feeling or what's going on with us. And that is okay. That is okay. There'll be a time and a place in which you'll feel comfortable, reaching out, and might be connecting, one-on-one with a person, or it might be through a support group. Ms. Holly, I know that you're one of the support group leaders down there in Texas. So, what do you find to be most helpful to those that are joining your support groups and, trying to reach out in regards to support?
Well, they love the outreach, because when you get diagnosed with this disease, you feel misunderstood, you feel invisible, you feel betrayed by your own body, sometimes family members, friends. You lose the community that you thought was going to support you through the whole process of being diagnosed. And so what I've come to find is that through being a kit leader, we create our family, we create our community. We keep in contact with each other and we encourage each other. And that was one of the main factors that I wanted to incorporate, what we wanted to incorporate as women of color when we meet these new people. We call it our 3 E's, where we come in and we encourage you. That's the first thing that we do, because we know that you are, stressed and depressed, and we want to get you out of that stage. So we encourage you to be the best you. We encourage you to be okay with where you are. You're in the beginning stages. It's not fun, but you will come out of it. You just have to want it, and you have to have the right people that are going to come in and intercede and pray for you and be there for you and encourage you. Faith plays a big factor in our group. Just let you know now, coming out the gates, yes. Everybody on this panel is faith-based. So if you don't even want to pray for yourself, we got you. So we want to always encourage you. That's our first step. And once we get you out of that funk, as Cynthia said, once we get you out of that slump, we want to educate you now. Now it's time for you to learn everything that you can learn about this disease so that you can get ready to step up. And our 3rd E is empower yourself. Once you get educated, no one can take that from you, not even your doctor. Some of these doctors don't even know about this disease as much as they should. And I've come to learn that a lot of us patients have no more, because we've been there, we've gone through the trial and error. We can help you develop skills to get through certain things that even some physical therapists haven't even thought of. So our main focus is to encourage you, to educate you on a personal standpoint, and then to empower you. Find something that you love and put your voice behind it, and let that be your advocacy. Let that be your outreach. You don't have to have money. All you need is time, patience, and an empathetic heart to want to listen to someone because you feel unheard, so what I feel like I try to do as a kit leader. I try to bring them in and encourage them. I try to help educate them through the information and resources that TMA gives. And then I try to empower them to sign up for different programs, become a volunteer, you know, speak your journey, speak your voice. So, because let me tell you, if you don't see you, trust me, there's somebody out there going through the same thing you're going through. You are not alone. All of our stories are not the same, but they are similar. So once you find different things that are alike, you know, I always say that myositis brought us together, but life experience is what keeps us bonded in this group. You know, we're mothers, we're daughters, we're sisters. You know, we that sister girlfriend when you down, as I always say. You know, like when I call some of these women up, I'm like, hey, Myo sis. You know, we want to encourage people, educate people, and empower people. That is my ultimate goal when it comes to this Women of Color panel and being a kit leader.
You know, I love everything that you're saying there, Miss Holly, and it really is true. You know, oftentimes with autoimmune type diseases or you know, those of the sort more like rare disease types out there, people feel invisible, and sometimes, you know, it really, you know, it's tough on them. And so it's great to hear that, you know, through utilizing those 3 E's of encouraging, educating, and empowering people, it can give, you know, a face and a voice to you battling these diseases. So I think that's really a great, essentially 3-step process, right? To help build one another up, which is imperative. Something I want to touch on here too, Kanaya, I'm looking at some of the questions and such, and I see, you know, some people are talking about food and how that's affecting them and things of that nature. I know that you also are a support group leader. I've seen you on there with Miss Darlene before and whatnot. What are some things that you've been able to share out to the community to help them on their journey, especially, you know, related to nutrition and such?
Well, it's definitely the 3 E's as we go back to it, but because I'm a nutritional health coach, I bring a lot of mindfulness in the present moment. We still have to be aware. So that self-awareness, that self-compassion, and I do it through mind, body, and spirit. So I try to encourage people to start by, you know, my thing is you are what you eat. So, you know, you can start from that nutritional point and you just take one day at a time with it. You know, start where you're at. Meet yourself where you're at, and you just start, you know, take one day at a time with it. But just knowing the simple fact that, you know, by eating certain things make you feel good, look good, because it starts from the inner work. So if you work on the inner work and you get to see the outside, the results are start to show up. So my main thing was to encourage my support group leaders and transform a life. So they know I'm really big about that. So checking in with them, trying to meet up with them. I'm always sharing from inspirational quotes to even sharing my favorite recipes. I'm a smoothie and juice girl, so I'm always putting that out there. And if they got any questions or whatever, you know, I always kind of like just try to share that, keeping the communication alive and letting them know that, you know, it's okay. I mean, we all have myositis, and I think that we all deal with it. You know, it's a slow process to kind of like say, hey, I need the help or whatever. So I think if we're all putting the work out there or whatever and doing the work, I think that they're able to come forward and be able to say, hey, I need the help. So that from that nutritional point, mind, body, and spirit, and just putting out good recipes, and even, I mean, I do a little bit of writing too, articles and stuff like that, just to try to keep everybody encouraged and to educate and to keep them empowered with uplifting things that I have to share with them.
That's excellent. I have some questions in here too, just if you guys don't mind sharing out where you're from. I realize that I believe the only one that I shared where they were from is Texas with Miss Holly, but do you guys just mind sharing the state that you're from? Because we have a wonderful array of attendees in here from Hawaii to Montana to Philadelphia.
I'm Houston, Texas.
I'm in the DMV area, Northern Virginia.
And I'm from Virginia.
Another part of Virginia.
Norfolk, Virginia.
I'm from upstate New York.
I'm from the Bronx, New York. Originally, I'm in Orlando. And
Welcome to Florida.
yes,
Lori, I just wanted to say something too to kind of
Yeah.
support Kanaya and what she was discussing. Kanaya and I did the same thing. We turned around and realized that food had a lot to do with our health and our conditions. Also, some of the predisposed situations we may have and genetic links. So we both went and became health coaches in food, and I took a year-long course in intense nutrition. And what I realized is that not one thing works for everybody. So everybody really needs to get a hold of their information regarding their blood test, their AC1 count, and to see what it is they need to work at. There are basic things to remove, such as sugar and processed food, drink a lot more water, and that's an easy beginning. The rest comes into really checking to see what's going on. Persons on prednisone, everybody knows we put on weight, okay? We start looking sometimes like squirrels with these cheeks. But if you on prednisone, there are other things that you can do. There's so much online. And I know Kanaya is like wonderful when you reach out to her for her to kind of help support and guide you. Because sometimes in this process of diet and eating, you do need support system. And there's so many questions to ask, but it is something that we talk about called bio-individuality. Everybody is completely different, but it's something that we all should look at, because our diet, as Kanaya said, it does start from the in out, and we need to work really hard to get our kidneys and livers, our pulmonary functions as healthy as can be. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
No, you're welcome, Kanaya.
No, I mean, that's a fantastic point. You know, it's trying to heal it from the inside out to make you the best version of yourself on this journey. Absolutely.
I would also like to mention that there is a PDF connected to this. So for those of you who want to see more about the women of color and some of the key points, please feel free to look at the PDF and even print it to keep it with yourself. Take it with you to your physician.
Yes, and we made a tiny URL. If you go to tinyurl.com/TMAWOC, I believe that's what it was. Yep, TMAWOC. I knew I shortened that one. Then it will direct you to there. It is on the main TMA website as well, and it's definitely a fantastic resource. You know, to help spread the word. So, what is probably the biggest advice you would give to someone who is newly diagnosed or is looking for the best diagnosis, you know, the most proper diagnosis of their disease? That is a woman of color. What advice would you give them, you know, to talking with their doctor, things to share with them, and such? Whoever would like to take that, go for it.
I would like to address that, especially since I am one of the newbies. One of the things that I would highly recommend is that you be your own advocate. Learn all that you can learn about the disease, as Holly was saying. Educate yourself. Take self-responsibility for your health. Oftentimes we want to look to the doctor, which the doctor is part of our team. The support groups are part of our team, but we are the biggest part of our team. We have to be the one that would eat right. We have to be the one that will seek out help when we need help. One of the things that I have learned on this journey, once you educate yourself, you can have a better conversation with your doctor. You can have a more informed conversation with your doctor. And I took the packet that TMA gives for the doctor, I took it to him, to my rheumatologist, and say, here, these are some of the things that may be helpful to you. And my treatment was based on me learning from the people like on this team here, and reading information on TMA, the support groups online. And I would go to my doctor and say, hey, what about this treatment for me? What about that treatment for me? So you need to understand how much you need to self-advocate, be in your driver's seat, be aggressive around your own health. And one of the things that Elisa says that women of color, we may tend to wait a little longer. We may tend to even not, give the driver's seat to the doctor because that's the generation, our parents, the doctor knows best, the doctor knows this. But you are your greatest advocate. You are the one that's going to make sure that what you need, you get. So speak up for yourself and show up for yourself.
That's really great, man. I love that. I tell you, I think that what I would like to add in, TMA had made a tracking system, and I think it's valuable to actually print that and put down everything that you're going through. Anything that you go through is valuable. Whatever you're doing, whether you're tired, how many naps are you taking, what's going on, everything is important. The other thing, it's okay in the beginning to be afraid. We tend to be afraid of the unknown, and that's okay. It doesn't make you weak or anything. But what will make you feel better, as we talk about the 3 E's all the time, is the more you do start learning, the more that you realize what it is that you do have, that you can embrace this, you become better at discussing what's going on with you. You become better in kind of understanding and embracing what it is you're going through, and you do get empowered. You really want to talk about it. Presenting it to your physician is also, you have to figure out how to do that. Some embrace your information, some do not. And we do believe in firing our doctors. If they're not working with you and for you, then you don't need them. So it is that kind of thing to understand that there are things you can do. But I will send you back again to TMA. There's so much there that you can read and learn. Take your time. You might get overwhelmed. That's okay. You might be having a little fear. That's okay. But the key is, and I love it how you were saying it, my sister, was that, yes, be an advocate for yourself. Just go in there. Don't take no for an answer, because they do not know all the answers. Some of them don't even know what the question is. Thank you.
Mine would be, it's not as elaborate as that, but I've noticed I've noticed that over the years, so many women will come to me and say, when will I ever be normal again? When will I get back to being normal? And, I don't want, it's like, you don't want to be the bearer of bad news, because technically it's not. And I will always ask them, what makes you think that your new normal is not going to be just as great or better?
Right.
What makes you think that just because you got diagnosed with this one thing out of your entire life, now your whole normalcy is out the window? Because I got diagnosed at 19. I'm 36. I've had it for 17 years. You give me 2 more years, I've had this for half of my life.
Yeah.
Before I got diagnosed, I didn't have a husband. Before I got diagnosed, I didn't have a college degree. Before I got diagnosed, I didn't have children. Before I got diagnosed, I didn't have this social media platform. I didn't have the women of color. I didn't have any of this. So would I trade the second half of my life for the first half because I want to be normal? Your new normal doesn't mean it's going to be bad. You just have to go through some things. And on the other side, you'll see the rainbow of the storm. You'll see the glory. You'll see the testimony behind your trial. So I always try to encourage them, listen, don't be normal. Be better than that. Be the new you. You get to define who you are from this moment on. So I get that a lot when I meet people.
You're speaking to our hearts right there, Miss Holly. That's what we're hearing, from the comments too, that, people out there, they do hear you, that is true. And oftentimes, you think, I just want my life back how it was. I just want to be able to do what I did before. But like you say, if you redefine your new you, it can be even better than before. You can climb those mountains and get past those hurdles that are coming throughout this journey. Ms. Kanaya?
Well, I think when you're sitting back in the seat and actually facing that doctor, I think that you can't be afraid to want to rescue yourself. I think we all have summed that up, but you have to be very proactive and I mean, it's good to listen in, but sometimes things are not going to always resonate with you. So you have to go to google.com, Yahoo, and start researching and want to rescue your own self. I mean, I think all of us has been sitting in the seat, being the patient. I wasn't always, part of TMA at the beginning. So they're not going to always hand you a brochure. You actually have to ask and be a voice for yourself. It was a lot of days where I was there sitting still. I probably didn't hear anything that the doctor said, and they, the results and the numbers were still standing, and I didn't know how to actually say, what are the numbers looking like. But you can't just sit there and say, why me and why now? I say, take that why me and why now and see greatness in your pain, live out your life in purpose, and that why turns into, that's your power right there. So I say, keep living, keep being a voice, and don't be afraid to say, hey, if that's not working with that one doctor, to reach out and contact many more.
Exactly.
Keep moving forward.
There is something too I would like to share, that please, we do mourn who we were and the activities we were able to do. And sometimes we do get stuck. I used to run. We get in that I used to phase. And mourning is okay. And I believe that mental health is a big part of this. And if you feel you need to go to a therapist, please do. Go to your pastor, go to whomever to be able to discuss this. Because the truth of the matter is, what was will not be again, but what will be can be magnificent. And that's where we have to stay with this whole thing. And definitely, talking about redefine and reinvent, this is what happens to us. But understand that while you're doing that, you must mourn what was, so that you don't take that with you and have, depressive and get depressed. So these are things too that I want to talk about, especially with new people. There's nothing wrong. And even us old folks, therapy works. Remember your mental health.
One of the things that, to chime in on that, one of the things when this happened, I kind of leaned into some of the other challenges that we've had. If you think about your own life and over your life, we've had challenges come up. For me, it was divorce. And look for the opportunities for positive change. Look for those opportunities, because myositis have given us the opportunity to stop. We always, I'm too busy to do this, I'm too busy to do that. Myositis gives us an opportunity to reflect on what really matters to our lives. We can let go of those things that were not of value anyway. It gives us a chance to say, what are my values? What really matters to me right now? And it gives us an opportunity to incorporate those values. It gives us an opportunity to re-envision or reimagine that life, what your life can be, get another clear vision about it, and then we can go to work and begin to build that life. If we did not have myositis, we wouldn't have stopped to think about what we really want for our own lives, and what we really want for our own future. So it gives us an opportunity to redefine and reimagine and go do it. So I like that.
I like
A great one there, Ms. Donna. We do have a question here that I think is a great one. So many of you are support group leaders, right? But now we're hearing from other support group leaders. One of the things they said is that they're a support group leader that's made up primarily of senior white women. So they would like to know how they can better help when someone of color ventures into their meetings. They've tried to help them feel a part of us, but our experience is that we usually don't see them again. What else can we do? What would you suggest?
Connect them to other women.
Yes.
We have, like, the women on this panel. Connect them, we're all available to provide our contact information, because it is true that we kind of navigate to similar. I know we say we don't take color, we see color. And it's, as a leader, you can just say, I have a resource for you. If you want to get more involved, if you want to be more involved with people that you may feel more comfortable around certain topics or what have you, I'm going to give you Holly Jones' number, or Tanaya, at least. So we're here. I think what the point is, as women of color, we want to be a resource. in this organization. We want to be a resource to people with myositis. Yes.
I believe that the other way to approach this as a leader of your group is what you're doing right now, listening to us talking about it, understanding what challenges we have that are different from the Caucasian counterparts would also give you the opportunity to let them know that you understand, that you can see some of the challenges that they're going to have that you may not have. And mortality is one. It's not a good thing to hear, listen, you're not going to live as long. So I decided I take that out of my vocabulary because I like doing things my way. But I believe that if you have the PDF that's connected to this, if you listen to some of the stories that are told, what's going on, you will have more information to share with that person who comes. They can also feel more comfortable and be part of two groups, because I think it's good to still be part of the KIT program as well as being able to be part of the Women of Color program. So I feel getting this information you're getting right now, you listening to this is a great movement to what you're going to do for those persons coming to you.
And depending on your location, you can always invite one of us to your meeting to come.
There you go.
And speak. And even if a person of color is not at your meeting, we would still love to come and speak at the meeting so that you can become more informed and more educated about women of color with myositis. And you know, it just so happens if a woman of color comes in, you'll be prepared. And then if they're in your region, if they're in your area, you're like, hey, Holly, you know, we're in Houston and we have our group of, can you come and speak? Or we just had someone inquire, would you mind, you know, coming down, talking to them? I mean, the women on this panel, just honestly, you can't go wrong with any of them. Everybody on here has such a big, like, heart that I will get on a plane. Just let me know. And I will come. Like, Lori knows, because she was in San Antonio. She was like, how far is that? I said, girl, if you went 3 hours, I would have came. If it was 30 minutes, I would have came.
Right.
I mean, coming and showing face and putting eyes on, because with this disease, like Ms. Glass said, we don't live long with it. So just because I'm here speaking to you guys today, that doesn't mean I'm going to make it to the conference next year. You get what I'm saying? So our panel, not saying that we're just so different from the Caucasian panel, but you don't know with us. You just don't know what the outcome is going to be. You know, being diagnosed so young, they told me I wasn't going to live to see 35. So last year, man, I was like, this is birthday number 1 for me. 36. You know, we starting over. That you know, I lived with a death sentence in the back of my brain from age 19 to 35, thinking, which year is it gonna be? When I cough, is this the last breath? You know, my heart is beating so fast. Oh my gosh, is this gonna be a heart issue? You know, so our panel understands that, and we get that. And some of those fears are not just fears of women of color, those are fears of everyone diagnosed with myositis. I learned a lot yesterday about NM and the muscle death that they have and that they're gonna go through and the outcome that they have. I can't even imagine that. And yet people can't imagine that my lungs are dying because I have the ILD that goes along with the polymyositis. So it's all about how you view things. But I mean, we don't mind. Period. I know I'm getting off subject. But
we would show up. We would show up, right, Holly?
Yeah. And I
especially if you're going virtual. If you're virtual, we will show up. It's wonderful. We will go there. And I also want to let you know, for those of you who have a Spanish community, I do speak Spanish. So you can call me. I have talked to people in Brazil and Argentina. So if you have that situation too, you can give me a call.
Cynthia, Miss Imana, she speaks Spanish.
I speak Spanish too. I speak English, so me puedo hablar.
Yeah, from the Bronx.
Necesita hablar con nosotros. Ya tú sabes, me puedo llamar y yo hablo. Okay.
We covered a whole.
I heard talk. I got talk out of that. Hablo.
And I speak sister called girlfriend. I guess I speak.
One of the
I speak Arabic, you know, anything.
I wanted to bring up, I was looking over the infographic and kind of to touch on what Holly was speaking of their earlier celebrating every birthday, because, 35, was the bleak outlook for you. Will I make it to 35? Well, what's tomorrow going to look like? One of the facts out there is that African Americans with interstitial lung disease are typically younger in diagnosis.
Correct.
And so, I think you give a great perspective and outlook on how to take that diagnosis and, do something with that and reinvent yourself and redefine, what that means. Now, some questions that have been coming in, wonderings. Do we have any idea why myositis affects women of color so much, or to the severity in which it affects them? Because Elisa, you were mentioning, higher mortality rates is something that goes.
Sure. I would like to actually talk about that a little bit. And what has been fascinating, and I've been researching this a lot, of course, because it does affect me. But one of the things that I'm looking at, and I have been seeing material that has been written and researched going back to 1982, even 1977.
Yes.
And a lot of it is linked to genetic factors, okay? Genetic factors of high blood pressure, diabetes, and other autoimmune diseases, which is fascinating because it doesn't mean that you will get any form of myositis, but it hires the instances of you getting myositis. So it's been fascinating to look at it. And in terms of health and genetically speaking, this is what's going on. That's one of the reasons that they talk about. And some of the markers, we tend to carry a lot of the markers that are there, and it's passed down genetically. So I thought that was quite fascinating. So in one hand, can you go before you're sick or your children to see if you have the genetic markers is a question I've been asking and actually sending it to the doctors, even one who was talking yesterday, who was actually fantastic. If you guys have not seen Myositis 101, please watch the video recording.
Dr. Agarwal.
Oh my goodness, he was amazing. You must look at it and you will understand what we're talking about in terms of markers. So this is part of what I have been finding. So part of what we need to do as women of color is really to look a lot at our eating, because high blood pressure has a lot to do with it. Diabetes number 2 has a lot to do with it. So that has been what I'm finding so far, but it has not been absolutely conclusive. What I will tell you, since 2010, the research and the testing has been quadrupled. So we will be finding out in the next couple of years, hopefully, I'm hopeful before I pass away, what is the concrete reasons. I hope that helps you, who you've been asking. Mm-hmm.
One of the things when Holly was speaking, and also Elise, that drives me, that when I read, this is one of the resources that I found in the beginning, and that drove me to get involved. How might you be the answer to change that? So do we say these are the statistics and, oh, well, we'll diet younger? No, it gives us an opportunity. Matter of fact, it fuels us to get involved. That's what fueled me to go to the Rare Disease Week. Weak as I could be, I couldn't even carry the bag with the papers. I had to bring my aunt at 70, over 70 something, to carry my bag so that I could be a part. Why? I don't like these numbers. I don't like these numbers. So my first question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to just say, okay, let's lay down? Or are you going to be a part of joining together with others who don't like these numbers, who don't like these numbers, to change them?
Right.
And that's what I would love to see, because I was looking at a study, the mortality rate was done in 1983. I think that was 83, yeah. That was one of the oldest studies that was done that gave the mortality rate. So how might we find more research? How might we find ways to reduce this? How might we find the conclusion? What's the real reason behind it, so that we can begin to address it? that's where the actions that we can begin to take and move the ball farther. As you know, Betty started this in 1993. She wanted to bring together a group of people with the same disease, the IBM. What is it in our generation? They've done a lot of work. There's more work for us to do. And the question I have for all of us, what is it that we can do to move this conversation forward, especially for women of color who are dying at 4 times the rate as white men, twice the rate of women that are non-color, people of color. So how might we begin to change those? That's where I would like to be a part of the solution for that.
You know, and I think that brings up a great point, because there's some questions, you know, coming through on, you know, how can they connect with this group, and, you know, are there quarterly meetings that happen or and whatnot. And, you know, I do know that Miss Kalila at TMA, part of the TMA staff, she's working on launching the Myositis Mavens program, which, you know, is definitely a great opportunity to, you know, step out there, be a voice, get involved, you know, kind of have these various platforms that are, you know, close to your heart and help you share that knowledge with others. So we hear you, we hear those questions, and I'd like to filter that back to Kalila and the TMA team to, you know, look into what's the best way to continue to connect with the Women of Color panel, besides, you know, the individual connections and, you know, you guys being so kind and offering, you know, your contact information and things like that. But, you know, how can we continue to launch this to reach, you know, the greater masses?
Are you asking Kalila?
Yeah, I was like,
Oh, no. I'm
was
bringing it back to
waiting
Kalila. I'm bringing it back to her. I'm not putting her on the spot like that, ladies. I'm just saying that I do want the attendees to know that we do hear those questions, and that's a great one. And we haven't, you know, had in-depth discussions, you know, regarding that as this grows. So I think that's a great launching off point and a great follow-up, you know, after the TMA conference. So we'll definitely share that information out. At this point, I would say, you know, reach out to these ladies through the platform itself. You can
Absolutely.
any of these attendees, you know, for any of the sessions that you're attending that you connect with and you feel like it would be a great opportunity for you to, you know, relate with and ask questions and such. So thanks
they
for
can join my session at 3:15 today in room number 4. I'll be in there today.
Oh, at 4:15?
Well, yes, 4:15.
It's here at 3:15. Gotcha. I was like, Miss Holly, we're a little late. It's 3:45.
And Lori, when we do get the leave us our contact information, emails or whatever, I'm even willing to do a one-on-one and consult just to be in relation to as far as what's going on from a physical wellness, emotional wellness, spiritual wellness. I mean, I'm willing to do it mentally, whatever you need done or whatever. I'm willing to also be too, you know, be able to step up and be able to be of help to these ladies.
Absolutely.
I think that'll be huge, and I think it's a great way to, you know, continue to share out and reach out and support the women of color, you know, throughout our community.
I think it's important to understand too, when people think what are some of our purposes and what are we doing? And of course, a lot of that, as Holly had mentioned, was empowerment, but we certainly want to put the awareness and the education out there. We want to be able to change these numbers and really make a big difference. And I believe that we can. I believe that we have already started to get out there and get in touch. And some people get a little nervous because they think this is a black and white thing, and this is not what this is. We're talking about real statistics that happens, and we're talking about ethnicity and why. And it's a powerful thing to have all of this research that not only is coming from TMA, but of course these wonderful doctors that you're pulling in, which is just amazing. So those are the things that we're using. We want to make sure we can reach out to people. We're willing to help however we can. And that's what our focus is to change these numbers as we continue to really support TMA and try to get some fundraising, because you know I'm all about fundraising. No money, no research. So these are things that we talk about, and we have a lot of different plans and what we can do to really do this. So if anybody really wants to not only continue your KIT program, but join us and help us in what we're trying to do, we would definitely love it. And as you heard, each and every one of us here are willing to even speak to you individually. We're there for you. And, you know, I just want to say, I know TMA is there for us. So thank you to TMA, because you actually help us to get this platform going, and you continue to support this platform. And, you know, thanks to Corbis also, that has done some wonderful things for us. So thank you.
Here's a practical way that people can get involved right now. You can actually take 5 minutes, write a letter to your congresswoman or congressman, and ask them to join the Rare Disease Congressional Caucus. So those are the conversations where funding goes into research for our rare disease. So you can start there and say, you're person with myositis, send it to your congressman, ask them to join the committee if they have not already joined. If you want a link, I can put a link to the Rare Disease Caucus committee information to see if your congresswoman or congressman is already in there. If they're not, send a letter. They have to, a lot of the funding for rare diseases have to come from the government, because it's not profitable for many of the pharmaceuticals. So we're thankful for the ones that we have a part of our team here at TMA, because they should be commended for getting in the fight, whether it's profitable or not, if you will, quote unquote. But a lot of the pharmaceuticals won't touch our disease. Why? Because it's not going to make them a money. The $70,000 is not enough to make money. So we have to go to our federal resources and individual donations. So that's one of the things that you can do, like right now, to start advocating and change the numbers for us.
That's a great call to action there, Miss Donna. You know, something that's tangible and something that everyone can do from the comfort of their home, you know, or partner up with someone and get that going. So being cognizant of time, I want to give each of you ladies a couple moments to, you know, share maybe your call to action to the myositis community, whether that's from a women of color patient perspective, or, you know, from the community itself supporting the women of color in the myositis community. But what would you like to, you know, share out to the community as your call to action?
I guess I'll go first. I'm always the guinea pig of the group. I'm always, you know.
Thanks, Ms. Holly.
But you know, but I don't mind. So my advocacy is always, well, it started in social media, because I'm a millennial. That's what we know. You know, the generation before me, the first thing you want to do is magazine, TV, you know, television, radio, you know, and now it's all about Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, you know, YouTube. So, you know, like she said, it can be find one small thing that you can do that makes you comfortable. If you're comfortable in front of a camera, cool. If you're not, that's cool too. But you can always do word of mouth. You can type up a post and post it on Facebook. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to make a video like I do. You don't have to start a channel. Just start small. Word of mouth is always powerful. Keep talking about the disease. Talk to your friends. Talk to your family. Encourage your doctors to speak more to their patients about it. Anytime May comes around, get more involved. Do a power walk. It's just little things, whatever you feel comfortable with. Start out with that and find something within the disease. I felt for me made me more empowered, because it's a broad spectrum. Like Ms. Donna said, she's passionate about going to the Congress, you know, like Elisa said, she's passionate about speaking to the pharmaceutical companies. Me, as you guys know, I love being that sister girl. I'm passionate about, hey, what is it? You want to be a mother? Okay, let's change those numbers. You don't have to abort your baby because you have myositis. Go ahead and do it. I had 3 of them. I can prove to you that it can be done. So, you know, it's like,
Mhm.
come on, I'm gonna grab your hand. We're gonna walk through this journey together. That's my outreach. That's my advocacy. That's what I feel passionate with and comfortable with. You know, I'm not comfortable like Miss Donna going typing up letters and going to the Congress. I'm like, can you spell this word for me and spell, you know, I want to make sure I'm sounding, you know,
Right.
judicial here. I want to make sure we can get the money, you know. So, but I think that's what I love about this panel. You know, we have people bringing in Congress, bringing in mayors, but then you got people like me that can conversate and bring these people out of their shyness and grab their hand and say, come on and join us. You don't have to be in the forefront, but I don't mind coming to the back of the church and sitting back there with you, and we're going to praise together in the back of the church until you feel comfortable getting on that front row. That's my advocacy. Don't laugh at me, Miss Elisa. I know you always tease me because I'm the baby. Don't laugh at me. Pretty soon, I'm not going to be the youngest one on this panel.
Definitely a testify.
All right,
But
let's go with you there, Cynthia.
I'm the oldest. I'm 17 years.
I'm the baby, probably one of the oldest, huh?
I never admit my age, Lori. So,
Hey, listen,
but I will say,
free zone, I will not ask.
sounds good.
Mhm.
I will say that I am a walking advertisement board, and I use it as such. Every appointment that I go to, I discuss what's going on, what's new. I have a team of 10 doctors that have been amazing. They have listened. We've gone through it together, and we've kind of worked it out now that they are actually teaching other people regarding myositis. I don't have a problem walking in anywhere and to discuss this. I've been approaching, of course, the board at the hospitals where I live. I have been approaching all the clinics and radio stations. And of course, I'm going to send that to Holly. But I'm like, you know, I don't have a problem approaching, discussing, and I don't have a problem talking about my own life. It is what it is. And I believe living my truth and is something magnificent that was given to me to deal with. And I feel that this was the new me that had to, it's like the phoenix rising. You know, I went through this crazy thing and here I am. And I'm loving it. I'm loving my life and making new friends. But I am a walking advertisement. They expected me to die in 2016. I'm still here. I'm fighting to change the numbers. I am looking and talking to many philanthropists, and they're beginning to want to open up their pockets because we are consistent. That's one thing I can say about this group. And there's another thing I can say about TMA. We are consistent, we stand our ground, and we're making things happen. And that's what I noticed they want to be about. So my whole thing is that we don't give up. We don't just take what anybody says. We have to live our own story. And I like writing my own story. I like being happy. You know me, Lori. So yeah, I love it. And I love the fact that we have this opportunity as a group to discuss this. And more importantly, that we are given the platform to discuss it in such a large quantity of people. So once again, thanks you guys. And I love my team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great advice and great call to action. What about you there, Miss Cynthia?
Well, I wanted to tell Holly thank you and testify to what she was saying, because she did come to the back of the church to come get me. Thanks. Because I was sitting back there like, hi. Thanks to Frankie as well that introduced me to her. But I'm excited. I feel like a toddler in the playground making friends. And I'm excited to spread awareness, learn more. Like I said, fundraise, use my gifts that I do have. I'm really good at strategizing and been in business for a long time. So I want to use what I have to bring awareness and bring it back to this platform and donate and do things like that through my nonprofit. So I'm extremely excited. I love all these women already. And I wish we could just hug and do what we can, but anyone coming in, I just want them to feel uplifted. I'm the one that wants to give you your sexy back. I want you to beat your face, put on your wig, feel good, and just get your sexy back. That's me. You want to holler at me? I could, talk this through. So that's it, Lori.
Yes.
I love
Sweet,
it. Bring your sexy back. BYB,
sweet.
Cynthia. I like it.
Yeah, I told Cindy,
Back.
I said, Frankie should have never introduced you to me. I got to hold to you now.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you go.
Yes.
So,
We're all holding on. Right, Donna?
But we'll hold
Yes.
instead of holding on, we'll hold each other up. You know, that's
Yes.
I
There you
think
go.
what I
There you
resonates most in my heart with with this panel and with this crew is that truthfully, that's really what you're all there for, is to help hold one another up, help guide, help support, and help make hearts feel happy, and that's a really important part to your, overall mental health, when battling any disease, nor less various myositis diseases. So I think that's a great aspect of you guys. So Miss Kanaya, I don't want to leave you out there, my friend. What's your call to action for others?
Don't be afraid to show up for yourself. Work alongside the doctors. Just don't wait until to get an answer for the month of May or for a conference. Show up every day for yourself. Be able to show up, because just like every woman on this call today, on this Zoom call today, or the conference itself, they're living testimony, and they're sharing testimony, giving you hope. And I think that starts there, keeping hope alive and being able to unleash your stories. And as you see, everybody on this call, it starts with faith. I do truly believe that walking by faith, not only your hurt and your suffering in silence, but it will get you to become a better you, the best version of yourself. And that's what you want. And you don't want to wait. I say start now, start advocating, start being a voice, start showing up for yourself and working alongside your doctors. My thing is transformation, transforming lives, and being able to be an inspiration to others, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So I say show up today.
yes.
Absolutely love it. I just wanted to bring everyone's attention to Miss Kalia had an opportunity to chime in. We appreciate you, Miss Kalia, and she was letting everyone know that yes, the Women of Color are part of that Myositis Maven Ambassador Program. So once that launches, obviously we're getting through the conference first, and then looking to launch that ambassador program later this month or next month. There will be a focus on women of color, and they will be
Yay.
in that focus, so you could work with the Women of Color panel. So in the meantime, always feel free. You can email Kalila at Cohen, that's COHEN, at myositis.org. And she would be more than happy to connect the dots and connect you with the women on this panel to support one another.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Thank you,
I
Lord.
just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you ladies so much for showing up, sharing your spirit, and helping others on this myositis journey. I really look forward to continuing to chat with you guys, grow with you guys, learn with you, and definitely, please, these ladies took time out of their day to be with us, so please take time out of your day to fill out a session survey so that we can let them know just how much we appreciate them and give them that great feedback. So that's also right here in the session. So if you look down, there's a PDF, click on it. It'll bring you to the link to complete that day 2 session. So thank you all.
I just want to mention, someone just sent a message here that they just emailed their congressional persons. I'm loving it. That's what I'm talking about. Nice job.
All about action.
That's
It's
what I'm
all
talking about.
action. Yes.
I love it.
Talk about making it happen there, Ms. Donna.
Oh,
Right?
yeah,
Exactly.
we got to make it happen. So I want to
Yes.
say
Great.
3 things.
Yes.
Start where you are. Everybody can start where they are. Use what you have and do what you can. That's all that's required of you. And then when
Love
we
it.
do it together, we become a formidable opponent to myositis.
I like
Power in
Yeah.
action, honey. Power in
Power in
action.
action. No talk, we got to have action.
it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, ladies. Enjoy
Thank
the rest of
you.
the conference.
Thank you, Lori.
And look forward to continuing
Thank
to connect.
you.
Thank
Take
you.
care, everybody.
Ladies. Thank
Cynthia,
you,
talk
guys.
soon.
Y'all come to room number 4.
Bye.
We go to
Thank you,
birthday
guys.
party, grandbaby's
Bye.
birthday party. Bye-bye.
Get your
Bye-bye.
sexy back.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your panel. I'm so
We
grateful.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Lori, we
You
don't
got
want
it.
any
Thank you, Lori.
other moderators. You're the only moderator for Women of Color.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good to me.
Forever.
You ladies are stuck with me.
Honorary woman of color.
I do. I get red. That's my color right here. Do you see?
I love it. I love it.
Bad
Love
lighting
it.
over here. But I love
Thank
you,
you all.
ladies. Thank you all so much. And it's
Thank you.
honestly, it's my honor to be able to moderate with you. So sign me up.
Thank you, guys.
Take
Awesome.
care.
Thank you to all the participants that showed up.
I just
Thank
love,
you.
Lori, I just want to say, I know that your brother would be so proud of you.
Yes.
Like,
Thank you.
seriously,
Thank
you have done
you.
such an amazing job with TMA in the memory of your brother. And I'm not gonna cry with you, girl, but you know how much I love you. And I
Thank
just
you.
really want to thank you for stepping up and doing all that you do as being part of the board and, you know, being so active, because this is not your disease. This was your brother's disease. And you have stepped up and just, oh my God, done such amazing work. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Well, we all want to thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
It's honestly, you know, it's a very, very unfortunate situation, you know, that occurred with him. And, you know, like I share with everyone, his version of dermatomyositis with interstitial lung disease was extremely, extremely rare. And that's not the norm for all, but it is truly the silver lining to it all is being able to be here, you know, with the myositis community and helping them in variety of ways, you know, from the conference to talking to moderating to being a part of the board. I'm just so appreciative that truly, when I said the myositis community, you know, gave open arms to me and allowed me to come into it, you know, technically being an outsider per se, but, you know, I understand from the care partner's perspective, having the opportunity to be by his side. So I really empathize with everyone, and I just want to help be that energy and that voice to help the community as a whole. So thank you, ladies.
Yeah, thank you. It's
you.
beautiful. You done a beautiful job. Beautiful job.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody, the whole family too. You know,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoy your
Bye,
evening.
ladies.
Bye.
Thank you to Howie, Kanaya,
Bye,
Cynthia,
Cynthia.
and Laura. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.